I must have been out of my mind when I decided to embark on this fool's errand. Dear stranger, a defeated sigh escaped me as I compared the crisp, clear example on my tablet to the indecipherable scrawl on the piece of paper in front of me. 2 words. That's all it took for my dream of elegant penmanship to collapse like a badly built house of cards. I should have known better. This was an exercise in futility, promising nothing but a fresh dose of humiliation and embarrassment. How could I ever hope to learn the art of written word when its last master had already been turned into a dusty wax exhibit at the local museum? With another weary exhalation, I picked up my improvised ink and quill, a stylus, and a jar of watered-down black paint, and began to write again, painstakingly sounding out each word as it came to me. If you are reading this, it means you have been selected for a scholarly uptaking of great significance. Wait, that sounded way too cold. My fingers twitched in irritation as I crossed out the sentence with a lot more force than necessary. If you are reading this, it means I have selected you to be part of my newest experiment. Nope, that wasn't right either. I cursed under my breath, fighting the urge to tear the paper in half and walk away from my desk completely. I'm sorry. I suppose I was a bit too eager to be heard by another person. The stylus felt wrong between my fingers, and the blot of spilled paint at the top of the page continued to swell and spread, as if silently mocking my inadequacy. If only there was a damn backspace button somewhere. Please disregard the above and allow me to restart. Damn it. This was so much harder than I expected. But it would have to do for now. Greetings. My name is Valerie Storm, and I believe I'm 20 years old. Or I would be, if we were still using the Earth Standard Calendar. I'm a professor of ancient history, specializing in what we now refer to as the postmark period. The official documentaries, which are automatically loaded into our mental implants at age 6, 12, and 18, cover all the broad strokes. Political shifts, wars, and the classic, "we must learn from our mistakes" narrative. But what caught my attention were the letters. The way people wrote them without knowing if anyone would ever write back. Maybe that was the point. To call out into the void for even the smallest chance of being heard. And if no one answered, that was okay too. At least you could prove to yourself that you were here, that you had a voice. Did you know that back in the 19th and 20th centuries, people sent actual pieces of paper, known as letters, across the world? The delivery process took weeks, sometimes even months. Questions were never answered. Confessions were swallowed by silence. Even entire relationships could be stalled. As a researcher, I was granted access to the vaults and archives. And that's where I saw just how many of those letters were met with nothing. Some were lost. Others were destroyed. Most were simply ignored. So I started collecting them, one by one. Not because it made a difference. I know it didn't. But because I needed to believe those words deserved to be heard. I needed to believe that all of it, The reaching, the waiting, the silence meant something. That's just an abhorrent lack of efficiency, you might say. And you wouldn't be wrong. Here in the 39th century, we can't even begin to understand what it means to actually wait. But that's exactly why I'm doing this. Maybe reading those letters was my way of answering. I hear you. You were real. And maybe, if I'm lucky, someone will do the same for me. I know. There are plenty of easier ways I could have sent this. I could have pinged your mental implant, or made a post on the Universal Databank. However, I've chosen the slowest way I could find. No tracking, no confirmation, just a letter, traveling by delivery shuttle, photocopied and scattered to random addresses across the system, like a message in a bottle. If you're holding this, maybe it means you were meant to find it. Or maybe it's just a glitch in the system. Either way, I'd be grateful if you wrote back. Unit 2457, Cluster 456, Narmer City, Eastern Overground, Neptune. I'll be here. Probably. Valerie Storm.